What's up? This is Tuesday Worlds, basically a race simulation group ride. It is full gas for, normally takes about 45 minutes to get to the finish at the top of the climb. There's actually two routes that we alternate between. This is the shorter of the two routes. So you can see I'm starting up at the front. There's probably 50 people behind me here. Oh, and I've got power metric, heart rate, cadence. I thought breaking it down live would be fun. So I'm spinning while I talk about this. I'm just doing a little recovery ride. So that top left corner is Carson Leg. He super strong rider. He was on shift for a year. Started his own team called Athletes in Action, but his wife was a World Tour pro on 2020. Ali Dragoo at the time. She's Ali Leg now. So this is where it really heats up. So I'm just kind of dragging the group up to speed. You can see I'm at or over threshold right here, just getting us going. And this is like a 2% drag uphill. Here's the theme of the night. Carson hits the front. And I'm doing 400 and something watts in his draft just to hang. We're doing 25 miles per hour uphill. This is like 2-3% uphill. So this is the spot where, depending on how the wind is going, nobody tell the UCI. I'm hitting the puppy paws. This was before the ban, and also this group ride is not UCI sanctioned. That pulling through right there, very similar kit, but that's a different guy. That's Paul Tower. He rode for Kelly Benefits back before they became Optum and then became Rally. There's my teammate Hunter. You've actually seen him in some of my Zwift videos. He's sort of the team principal. We also got Andrew Thomas in there. Some of my Zwift videos. This is a stacked field. Like, pretty much everyone coming through on the right there is like capable, competent road racers. And there's even more people behind them. This is still probably like the front 1/4 of the group. It does split here into an A group that's doing basically a race simulation, and a B group that's doing like a chain gang, to use the UK terminology. Chain gang is basically, you set up a double pace line, pull through, pull left, backwards, get on the back, pull through, like we're doing here. The difference with this A group is that attacks are allowed and encouraged. So I'll go ahead and point out the guy in the red over there. That's Paul, Tall Paul. And Tall Paul works for Nike. He is a former triathlete who's just swapped over to road racing. Super strong. Like, he has, I got a KOM on one of the group ride race segments recently, just sitting on his wheel. And here we go again. Carson on the front. I'm doing almost 500 in his draft. We're doing 31 miles per hour, 32. So this is going to be the theme of the night, is Carson putting down these crazy efforts and then just sort of hanging me out to dry. Hunter coming through. So basically, unless someone is attacking and we're scrambling, we try to keep it pretty, like, rotating pretty cleanly in this group. So there's kind of some lumps early and some lumps late, and we finish on a 5-minute climb. Between, there's a section that's pretty flat. So we're about to hit the second of the early lumps right here. This is one where people get split off and then we go into a big descent. But if you're back there when we hit this little uphill, it can be, you know, almost a 10-second gap from the front of the group to the back of the group. And then to try and move through that on the hill. Oh, we also only use this right lane. We don't go into the left lane at all. So even though there's not like a yellow line rule in effect, positioning is pretty key because there's actually not a ton of road to work with. So right here, I got pushed onto the front on the hill and decided it would be better to take control than just let people have it. This light doesn't normally catch us, but it did this day. See, there's nothing on this side. What's up, Spoon? Welcome to my real life ride. I just attacked, but then I got caught by the light. So, hope everybody got a good rest there. You're all welcome. And there goes Carson again. So, Carson is definitely just here to, I was talking about this in my ride yesterday. These rides where there's nothing on the line and it's just purely for bragging rights. And this was recorded on a GoPro Hero 7 White. It looks pretty, okay, I was gonna say it looks pretty good. Super foggy on this day. It's not gonna stay foggy like this. We're going up into it right now. We'll come back down out of it and then climb back up into the fog at the end. Pretty ominous. Speaking of ominous, got my teammate Jacob here in front of me. Jacob is kind of the patron of the Peloton. Luckily, they got caught by the light and got brought back in. This is a section where we're about to go into this long downhill, and I promise the quality will get better. We're going to come out of this fog. This is a section where I'd really try to rest a lot. I got pushed to the front, and a mistake you can make here is if you hit the front and you don't want to be on the front, you can go too easy, and then people come from the back just slingshotting over the top and get a gap. But so my team shift, you can see our kits right here. We're always trying to keep the pace high. We don't want to let it see this. It just is happening to Hunter right here. Everyone who's on that other lane in the draft is coming by with speed, and you can see there's gaps in there. Hunter keeps looking back, like trying to make sure someone's closing those. I'm getting in the line and let Hunter in front of me. That's a good trick for your teammates. It's always good to let a teammate in front of you, because then you don't have to close that gap. They basically are like putting a draft between two drafts for you, and they're not having to fight to get back in line. Flattens out for a second here, so I'm just trying to kick up and get tucked back in, and then it just keeps going back down. I think we're gonna come out of the fog here before too long. We're basically going up into the fog, down into the valley, back into the fog at the end. This ends up being about like a crit type effort. We normally, even with the lights and the stops, normally average about 25 or better miles per hour. I think I had the KOM on this full attack zone. I'm doing nothing right now. I'm just hanging out. If you get well tucked in, you can really save some watts. We're doing almost 40 miles an hour right now, and there goes Carson, somebody. One thing I love to do right here is really back off, so it kind of goes down and then back up. Thanks. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna stick with that as well. So it dips down here and then goes back up, and you can see the guy in front of me is pedal, 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 pedal. What I'm doing here is as we get on the flat, I'm getting lower and lower and lower, and I'm still not pedaling. The dude in front of me is killing himself. You can see he's like pedaling squares. This is a guy who's started showing up recently, last couple of years, but he's been doing all the road races, and he looks back like somebody do it. I didn't pedal that whole time. So my heart rate got all the way down into the 120s from like 170s just on that little downhill. Seems like we split this pretty good pretty early. Clay right there in the black kit, also very strong road racer. So this is a classic spot to attack. We're coming with speed into this little ramp, and then this is 3, 4, 5%. And one guy I haven't mentioned here, pink jersey up toward the front, it's Martin Moots. He races for BM Pro, Birchmeier, German team on Zwift. He actually is German. He's a scientist and works for the research hospital here. That guy, pink kit. He is super strong. Once again, oh my God, 800 watts to cover that one. I was saying, Carson there in the Velocio kit, far left, that was kind of the theme of the night, was Carson just putting down these wild attacks and then pulling off and just leaving me out to dry. So right here, I think we got some separation. Don't tell the UCI.
You right to jail.
Ooh, committed to this effort. Like I said, my team shift, we're gonna keep it rolling. So Hunter coming through. Looks like we got a group of 5 here with 3 shifts. So that's how we like to do it for sure. And the dude in front of me right here, Paul, I don't know if I fully expressed this, but back in like 07, 08, he was on the team that is now Rally, the team that KBH was on for a while, the Kelly Benefits team, Kelly Benefit Strategies. Coming up to this light, and we got it. That's always a question, is like, are you gonna commit to that acceleration because of the light? There's a new light on this route, which sucks this year. So that one's always been there, but like the previous one, there's no road over to the right. It's just cars coming from that way. So it stays green this way a lot more, and you don't actually get caught by it unless someone's coming out of the mall. But this is a new one because they added this Buc-ee's gas station. You can see the, almost see the sign, but Buc-ee's is totally insane. It's like, it's a gas station, but it's like a Walmart. And there's all this traffic getting off the interstate here for it. And they had to put in this light, which sucks because this used to be ripping fast descent and then a right-hand turn up here. No, I'm not. I'm in Alabama. This is like the first Buc-ee's in Alabama, I think. A lot of my rides go this way, and it is pretty sick to stop at Buc-ee's and get a snack. But for the purposes of this ride, the Buc-ee's sucks because we got all this traffic coming off the interstate. We got to merge with here. We got that extra light. Yeah, you can see Buc-ee's over there. But we're turning right. And this is another danger spot for people. We got this little ramp right here. And then this is one of the only spots that's usually a crosswind. So we're actually going like north-south rather than east-west here for a second. So if you want to put people in the hurt box, go in here is the spot. And this is perfect for me. I got a teammate up the road who has covered that move. And I believe that's Hunter. That's either Hunter or Jacob. But I'm going to sit on the front here and do a tempo that's just hard enough that they're going to continue getting time. I should probably be going easier than this, honestly. I should yeah, sub 250. I think I realized. But what this is going to do, I'm not actually chasing Hunter. I'm setting a false tempo. And I'm trying to make someone from behind come around me and do it so that they'll commit. But it looks like Hunter's not pulling through up there. He's just sitting on. Once again, ban. I do that position a lot. And I kind of feel about this the way I feel about some of the Zwift stuff. Like, banning that position is just a way for them to say they're doing something, but it's not actually improving safety. I've never seen anyone crash because of the puppy paws position. And once again, we're ripping. Slight uphill here, 28 miles an hour. Paul Tower on the front. So you can actually, I think, still super tuck and still do that position in USA cycling races, because there are very few UCI level races in the US. So I think unless your local federation wants to call people on it, Yeah, I think that's kind of up to your local governing body, but I think it's technically legal. A little bit wet right here. And like I said, my team is just going to keep it fast. So I'm over threshold, committed to that pull. Keep it fast, hoping someone will come through from my wheel here. And I think, there we go. Like I said, team shift, we're going to make sure it stays fast. So I think some other people tried to skip pulls there, and then we got Jacob and Hunter coming through. I think we want to split it down a little bit to less people right here. Split a few of these off so that we have the numbers advantage. Okay, that's Martin. Martin is generally the guy I'm going toe-to-toe with at the end. Jacob tightening his shoes here. So this portion is pretty rolling. It's all like 1% and 2% up and down. So none of it is really hill, but none of it is really flat, if that makes sense. It's also, this is the spot to get out of sight if you want to get out of sight. But I think we're all pretty smashed at this point. My heart rate on this ride, I think I was carrying some fatigue into it because I couldn't get my heart rate up over, I think like 180 maybe as high as it got. You can see how hard I was doing 500 there just so I didn't lose Jacob's wheel. So that's something that you don't get on Zwift, is that when either the group comes by and you got to tack onto the back, or your pull is over and the next guy comes through and you're getting on the wheel, you got to do that little punch. Everyone behind is skipping pulls. So like I said, team shift, we are just not going to let this go slow. So I rolled back through to the front for a second here. Super tuck that little downhill. Huge potholes. Calling those out. Everybody look out for that. Hunter coming through here again. Yeah, Zwift overcooks it a little bit. I do always say, like, this ride would be going even faster though if none of us were touching the brakes at all. If I could just phase through this guy, and if I could just kind of phase through this guy, no one ever had to touch the brakes, there were no cars and no stop signs. But even with all that into account, I think Zwift overcooks it a little bit. Ooh, big honk from me right here. 400 for a second, over that little crest. And once again, I'm just gonna try and keep it fast, keep it moving. 30 miles an hour. Hunter's got my back. I think this is a spot where that little honk I just took, and then Hunter takes one, I think we get separation right here. So me and Hunter actually have separation here, which everyone else has just sort of miscalculated. I think probably the 2 or 3 guys. So this is part of the not phasing through people thing I was talking about. At any given time on a road this narrow, if you're not going to cross the yellow line, which we're not going to, if you cross the yellow line on this ride, you will get yelled at. There's really realistically only like 4, maybe 5 people that can respond immediately to an attack. So I think what happened is when we went, everyone behind us was kind of cooked. The 4 or 5 people that were in position, and the people who wanted to chase had to spend a few seconds kind of working their way through to get to the front. So sort of a freak thing here. The 2 of us got away together. I think this pull, I actually cracked Hunter. So I was doing too much here. When I would hit the front, I was going too hard immediately. I should have been sort of ramping the watts up slowly. This is the kind of thing I got to ride outside a lot to get back in my head on this. Yeah, we do. So you guys have never seen that part of this kit, but yeah, back there we have the 100 emoji, and it, like, I'll show you if I can. It's the pocket kind of covers it, and then it reveals when you get low on the bike. That was actually Hunter's doing. I gotta credit him on that. Exactly. Like, I'm down in the illegal position right here, so straight to jail. But the 100 definitely comes out when you're down in the tuck. So I actually bought for the new bike a Slam That Stem top cap. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but slamthatstem.com, they basically make top caps that don't have that volcano shape. They're just flat, so you can get even lower. So I'm going to be very low on that thing. Yep, I've dropped Hunter and I'm just solo right here, which this is not a spot where I want to be solo, but at the same time, if they've given me a gap, I'm not going to just hand it back to them. I want to make them work. I specifically want to make Martin work. That is the goal here. And Carson with the counterattack right at the stop sign. So in coming weeks, we'll go straight at the stop sign for the longer version. Yeah. So I was slowing down to look for traffic at the stop sign. I think he saw me backing off a little bit and perceived that as weakness and went for it. We do stop at that stop sign if there's traffic from the left or the right. This is honestly kind of a good position for me to be in. Andrew right here, triathlete, strong time trialist. He's a big Zwift guy. He's been in some of my Zwift videos when we were doing this ride on Zwift last year. So this ride was actually what got me on Zwift. Last year when things locked down, these guys were like, we're doing Tuesday Worlds as a meetup on Zwift. And so that day, set up an account. That was it. Oh, you can see my chin here. I'm like fully. So I don't ever super tuck for real. What I do is keep my butt on the saddle and then just put my chest on the stem. Kind of almost Marco Pantani style. I think that is actually technically legal. So this descent is pretty wild, pretty twisty turny, and we got Carson off the front. But I'm kind of content to let Carson dangle because I know exactly where I want to go from. So you can see there, when I hit the front, I actually didn't do that much. I'm doing more now to make sure I don't get swamped by the group coming by me. But I didn't really want to chase Carson. I actually kind of wanted to let him dangle until this next hill. So we got the big pothole there. Thank you, Martin. You'll notice Martin here on the right. You haven't seen him much. He's been very quiet this whole ride. I did that YOLO'd it off the front for a minute there. But Martin is definitely the one to watch. Martin is absolute beast. This is super rough. You can't even call out the potholes right there because it's all potholes. So rather than people pointing them out, you'll see people just do this with their arms, which just means like it's all not good. Just get ready for it. So there's Jacob. He's sticking this move. Thank you, Jacob. So the fact that Jacob is on the wheel up there, I don't have to chase that one. So theme of the night right here, Carson taking a big honk and then dropping me off. Everyone knows, you can tell it's really slowing up right here, and it's because this hill is a classic spot to attack. Here goes Carson, big honk, and this, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is sick. He and I are gonna TT all the way. 700 watts in the draft, and then he pulls off and says, go. And I'm like, what? Up, up. So, split second decision. I just commit to it. That's what commitment looks like. 700 watt honk, and then 700 up the hill. And I'm hoping I catch this light up here. This is another one of those cars are only coming from the left here, so it's not doesn't change that often. but you do get caught by it occasionally. Finish is probably, we're like 5 to 10K out. I'll say we're 7K out from the finish, but the last mile or two is uphill. We basically finish on a real life equivalent of the volcano climb. It's for me, full gas about 5 minutes and 3-4% the whole time, kind of undulating, probably 3 or 4% average. So in your mind, it's almost a direct analog for that. So I could have run this. I had a gap, but I decided to, I'm keeping it civil. I'm not trying to, it ain't worth it, you know? And so I've just handed that gap back to everybody. They barely get to me. They get to me right now. So I was dead stop there. They're coming up to me with speed. And teammate Jacob in front of me. I'm like, Jacob, please pace me for a second here. This is the other section that's always a crosswind. When we hit this bridge, the wind is running this way. And so if you get stuck out in it, you can really get guttered and get hurt right here. So I'm doing 175 on the front, just chilling. And this guy rolls coal on us. I think I yelled an expletive at him. Cause like, what? We're not even in your way, dude. You're up the road. Yeah. It's always white pickup trucks. I don't know what the psyche is there, but yeah, stupid. Anyway, here goes Hunter. Good. So this is a bad move for me. First ride like this, like race sim group ride in a year. I should not have done this. When he pulled off, I should have just backed off. But I'm doing, so I did back off decently. I'm just sub threshold. My threshold's around 300. But I should have really backed off here to give Hunter the gap. So yeah, I realized what I was doing and backed off. But tall Paul comes through. You got to get on the tall Paul wheel. This is an ideal draft. Yeah, we're doing 27 and I'm doing sub 200 watts. Even when he gets low, he's way taller than me. Yeah, there he just did the chicken wings, like here's a hole and you can't get around it. And Hunter's back. We're slowing down. We're getting pretty close. Hunter realizes no one else is gonna do it. He just goes again. Just whatever. Tall Paul is like, I'm not taking a pull right now. This is basically like what you see in the final few K before the sprint. That's what this is. Everybody is playing games because we're about to hit the climb. Everyone knows it's gonna be hard. So here we go. I told you, shift is not gonna let it get slow. Jacob comes through. And I think Jacob's thinking here was like, I just got to get Crain to the base of the climb. He's going to keep it fast. So once again, Carson, you would think I would have learned by now. When Carson does one of these, 400 watts in the draft. When Carson does one of these, I need to just let him go because he's not going to commit to it, at least on this day. Carson is super strong and does like to go solo. So that's what's throwing me. But on this day, left turn and we're on the climb. So base of the climb here, yeah, no, it's just the fog, slow spoon. Camera lens is picking it up as we move through. You can tell the road's a little bit wet through here. Oh, there's a mailbox that looks like a manatee on the left, right there. Got to check the manatee mailbox. So this is me. Once we rounded that corner, I was hoping I could catch Martin a little bit out of position. and go ahead and put a couple seconds into him. I am hurt right here though. There's a little flat right here. I'm trying to get what draft I can. So this climb basically like kicks and flattens 2-3 times. So I want to draft on all the flat bits and just really stand up and put it down when it gets steep. So it's actually downhill. This is like very much like volcano climb, kind of downhill and then back up. For just right here is down, and then that right turn up there, little slight right, is back up. Yeah, we're going 24 right here. So obviously not like full climb. And hitting the front. And notice you still haven't seen Martin. Still haven't seen Martin this whole time. So he's really been hiding himself. We're going back up into the fog. I think it gets really misty through here. 400 watts. I'm committing to this effort. This is where I need a rear view camera. But like I said, having another camera to deal with, both in terms of weight and in terms of editing this and like syncing it up, does kind of seem like a nightmare, but it would be nice to see what's going on behind me. And there is Martin revealing himself. So I think at this point, it's just me, Martin, and Carson keeps kind of like drifting off and coming back and drifting off and coming back. I think what's happening is he gets up to his limit and he's like, I'm done for the day. I've done what I came here to do. And he backs off a little. His heart rate goes down a little bit. And then we're only like, 10, 20 yards up the road. And then he's like, I don't know, I feel good. Comes back up to us, repeat that cycle over and over. So Martin is on some insane form. Another one of these races, these rides, 2 weeks ago. This was the first one of the year, but we're doing a longer route now that finishes on a shorter climb actually. And for that climb, same kind of deal, like turn at the base of the climb. And the other day we came into the climb, cars were there, full stop, unclip. Martin got me at the top. And I thought like, man, am I not going as good as I thought I was? Like, what's up? And went back and looked. Martin had put down a top 10 time, all time. I had PR'd it. And I have about 90 attempts from this ride. So like full gas attempts at that climb. So it's not that I'm going slower. It's that we are going faster. So right here, I'm doing 400 in the draft. So this is where I'm starting to get like, I don't know what's going on. Normally I can see the top, but with the fog, I kind of have no idea where I am. And I know there's this fence, there's some horses over there, and then there's a neighborhood at the top. So normally what I'm looking for is the entrance to that neighborhood. That's like the finish line. So right here, I'll go ahead and say I kind of biffed this right here. I'm seeing houses up there, seeing that mailbox and thought, see that house? I thought that the end was much closer than it is. Spent my tickets on that sprint and just gave Martin a perfect lead out.
Slow, jail.
He did a great job of, when I went there, he just got right on my wheel, let me pull him up to speed, and then as soon as I started to fade, he just went. So that was it. All of my tickets are spent, I'm cashed out, and there's no one behind me for several seconds. Definitely nobody's getting to me. This line in the asphalt is the traditional finish. We regroup right here. And so I'm trying to get this set up, sort of like dialed in, get all this figured out so I can do some good crit race breakdowns. And I think I want to do them like this with the chat. I think it'll be fun to, I mean, you guys know I can talk to myself in a void about bike racing all day. but it's cool to have some questions and some chat and some jokes and whatnot coming through. I'm going to finish this trainer road workout and get out of here. Thanks for the birthday wishes, everybody. Thanks for hanging. This was fun. And hopefully I do some IRL crits soon. Apply this format and do some of that on here. Anyway, fun stuff. Thanks you guys. Appreciate it.